evening, everyone. Welcome to today's workshop. If you don't know me, I am your host Afif, and I'm thrilled to see all of you present here on a Saturday evening. Have you heard about Metaverse or about Google's AR room? So, today we will be discussing these immersive technologies like AR, augmented reality, and its relative design principles. So, quite thrilling, right? This topic is so interesting that I already want to experience the virtual world. But wait, let me introduce you to our even more interesting guest, Mr. Amit Shetty. So Amit is a user experience designer at Devami Design Labs. He has been working over the years, and he's been working in user experience, advertising, films, and has helped business create these user-centric and scalable solutions. Also, he is a beginner at NFT, crypto, and he is very passionate about his about the storytelling and experimentation in design. So, why do you enjoy this workshop? Do mention your questions in the Q&A section below. And without further ado, let's welcome Amit and start with today's session.
It's great to see you all. As Afif mentioned, it's a Saturday night, and I think a lot of wedding season is going on. People might be busy attending parties, right? But thank you so much for coming in. And first of all, before we start, I would like to thank Afif and the whole ProApp team to arranging this workshop itself. Right, it's a great initiative that they are doing and enabling the design community to learn from each other and bringing together the experts and who are the new learners, right? Like, it's something that which was not there a lot of years back when we were studying, so it's great to see this. So thank you, Afif, and thank you, ProApp, for doing this. And as Afif mentioned, right, I'm a user experience designer, and I work with multiple agencies, like clients from B2C to B2B, and it's a very fun, it's a passionate field. I'm very passionate about it. But before I got into user experience, it's been a while that I got into use. I was into motion graphics, 3D, and that love for 3D or something very came to me from watching cartoons. Sorry about it. Cartoons and animated films. So, how many of you are like passionate sci-fi fans here? You can just put a hands up, right? So, I think a lot of sci-fi book readers or avid, Marvel, Star Wars, all these movie fans, we already have seen this vision long back, right? I think when Star Wars came in 1990s and showing a holograph communication where the character is standing in front of each other even though they are distance apart, right? So I think that was like a long back. People had already said it, and slowly we are in that era where now it is possible with companies, big giants like Microsoft and Facebook, or now it's called Meta, as it's been named after Metaverse and the initiatives they are taking. They are already in the space of building new worlds where we can explore, and it's a complete like a open canvas right now. So before we start, I would love this session to be very interactive. I'll be asking questions to you guys. I hope you can shoot a lot of questions towards me, because it's great when you ask question and I able to come up with new things. Sometimes even I might not know. If you ask some pointers, maybe I will have to go research back, and maybe I would have seen something. I would refer back to you. So it's a learning experience for me also. So I hope everyone is ready for this. Should we get started? Okay. So let me just quickly share my screen. Can everyone see my screen? Okay. So what do you think of this image right now? there's a guy who's sitting in wheelchair. Maybe he's not able to walk right now, and he's wearing what seems to be maybe a VR headset, and he has a exactly right. He's on a boat. Now think about it. In reality, his physical situation is completely different, right? He's not able to get up, but virtual reality is making it possible for him to still enjoy a number of activities which are physically limiting right now. And you know exactly what Ankit said, right? He's physically impaired but experienced something which is currently impossible for him. And that, I think, as a designer is what we do, right? We are creating experiences which will bring smiles, which will be lasting, and which will enhance people's life. So this was one of the images I was working on PVT yesterday, and this image came across, and you know it was such a powerful image to establish this point. So I'll take it ahead. We will come to these topics in deeper, in the following session. So let's see. Designing for augmented reality. It's a buzzword right now. A lot of people, already in the market. We know augmented reality, mixed reality, virtual reality. There are a lot of things going on. So where does this start? Okay. So does anyone know this movie? It's a famous, if I'm correct, it's a Spielberg movie. Yes, Keshav, that is correct. So this is Ready Player One. It's an amazing sci-fi movie based on a bestseller book which was written in 1990s. Like it's better than that. Yes, right. It's a bestseller, and they made a book out of it, a movie out of it, and it's a movie about how the whole planet has been explored. Now people don't have anything much to explore, so they are exploring virtual reality. So everyone is invested in one or the other way into this virtual game, and there's a lot of quest going on. So I won't spoil the movie for you. You can, if it's a weekend watch, if you are eager, you can just go on. I think it's there on Amazon, or you can look it up, and it will. I can guarantee you, it's a fun movie to watch. So let's move a little back, right? Now, sci-fi fans, you might be knowing this movie. So Tom Cruise, we have seen him in exactly. No, that's where I was coming. We have seen him in Mission Impossible, but before that, he was in a lot of different movies as well. And this was one of his a long time, great action film. And this was called Minority Report, and it was one of the first movies where people had a floating display which they could interact with. Like it explicitly showed this concept of how things can work when digital is in real life, right? So this is also an amazing watch. You might think that, okay, more than webinar, we are looking at a weekend watch list. So yes, I am a movie buff, so I like to relate to movies. Now we will go all-time favorite. This is, I think, a lot of us know. This is Robert Downey Jr., famously known as Iron Man. And this is one of the scenes where he's just, I think this one is from Iron Man 3. But from 1, 2, 3, we have seen Tony Stark build his iron suit, like, from the cave. Then he comes back to his villa and he's assembling his complete armor. But there's something unique about it, where he's creating the armor in virtual space. He's just imagining it all the things that he's imagining are getting projected in his room, in his real space, and he's able to interact with it, interact it, modify it, upgrade it in the real time, right? And then once he's done with it, all the simulations are run, his suit is ready, right? And I think it's one of all of our favorite movies, and we would love to have Iron Man suits. I definitely would. And yes, now we'll come to this. So I think this is another cult games, or a very famous games that a lot of us would have seen. Pokemon Go. Yes, Keshav. So Pokemon is a cartoon franchise which was like in I think it was in early 2000s. It came in and it was like a wave. Everyone knew, every kid knew Pokemon. And when they launched this application, right, like as a kid we all imagined to have our own Pokemons and go on an adventure with them. And when they actually launched this app, it was groundbreaking because you could actually do that right now on a mobile phone. You just had to take up your mobile, go for a walk, and you could catch Pokemons in the digital space. But that was one step closer to coming to your imaginations as a kid. You know it was very simulating internally. And yes, there were a lot of incidents with this, but yeah, it was a great interactions, right? And it was all over the news at that point of time. Now let's come to next. And this is another famous thing that we all use on a daily basis. I don't think so. Is there anyone who hasn't used face filters? I think on the Zoom right now, if you go, like at least I can go, and if I go on video filters, I can put on a filter myself. Like you can see glasses wrapping in. So these are all nothing but examples of augmented reality, right? That what do you even mean by augmented reality? So before we jump to augmented, this all covers under a term called immersive experience, right? It's basically an experience where you pull a person from their current state to a whole different experience. You enhance that experience itself. So let's say when you're reading a book, you are imagining something. But when you're watching a movie, it is your imagination is already present in front of you. There might be something different, but then it's a visualization is already in place. But when it comes to immersive experiences, you are able to engage with these things, right? So what are the types of different immersive experiences? Augmented reality, which is AR, mixed reality, MR, virtual reality, VR. There are some digital twins and 360 videos. So I hope everyone is hanging on right now. If you have any questions, let's see. So we have a very interesting question. Mohammad Mansoor has asked, does VR work for those who cannot even move their head? Right now, they are working on this tech. More of from a neuroscience point of view, right? They are working on capturing the brain signals and then triggering the events accordingly. So there are those things. And so Nikita, I'll come to digital twins. You're asking, so digital twins, for example, are used, let's say we talk about the surface of moon, right? So to test how a vehicle or a new rover or a new ship would work on that surface, particularly where they are targeting on, they The scientists would create a digital twin of the same space, put it in a 3D simulation software, and run simulations on it and see how it performs. Right. So digital twins are mostly used in simulating different events. So let's say if you are on a racetrack, so you have a digital twin of the complete racetrack, and then you run your new F1 engine or F1 car through it. So that's where digital twins come into play. They also come into play in our AR applications, which we will see, you know, uh, some down the line when we are discussing further. But yeah, 360 degree videos would be on YouTube. We have these 360 videos which are like a stitched complete cylindrical space. So if you put on your phone or you put on your headgear, you it's not exactly immersive as much as, it's more like, okay, you are in some space. It is little bit improvised on reality rather than watching a flat video. So all good till now? Should we move ahead? Okay. So let's come to AR, right? So if you see the image itself, it's a pretty simple example. On a DeX, there's one QR code, and as soon as that QR code is scanned, you see a 3D model that comes on top of it. So what does AR even mean? It's basically you are imagining what is not there in that space at all. So it's right now it's only a piece of paper, but you are now able to see a 3D model of Big Ben around there, right? Then this is extending what is already there. So there's a piece of paper, on top of it you're building something digital, and it is enhancing your experience of how you interact with that paper now. So as soon as you scan it, it's not just a piece of paper, it's more of a something that is shareable, that is more interactive, right? Next would be MR, mixed reality. So how many of you would have heard of HoloLens or smart glasses? Like, we are pretty familiar with Google Glasses was one of the great examples, right? So mixed reality is nothing but a blend between digital and the real space. So when it comes to AR, you are accessing the experience through some form of a screen, right? It's either a mobile phone, a tablet, or there is some medium via which you will experience it. But in case of mixed reality, it's the headset. So these are like the specialized headsets that enable you to look at the digital interface in real life. So on the example on the right, you can see the lady is working on fixing some parts, and she's been assisted by one of the engineers. All she's doing is just following the instructions, and the engineer is able to guide her, precisely what to do. And he doesn't have to be in the same space. He might be like across the world, somewhere somewhere else, but he's still able to help her out, right? So mixed reality is imagining what's not there and manipulating it, extending what's there or not there, and completely expanding it, right? But it's also constrained within your physical environment, right? So if you are in a room or if you are in a bigger room, as Akshay said, it's a midway between virtual and augmented, right? You have a headset, but you can still see your real life, right? So it's overlaying on top of that. Now let's come to VR. So VR is completely imagining what's not there. You are literally taking a user from real life and putting it completely into a digital environment, right? So in that place, it can be anything. You can have a music video playing around, you can be playing a game, fighting monsters, or as we saw the first image, you can driving around the kayak, right? Which you might be just sitting in your hall. And think about it right now, if we see the way market is going on, like Facebook and everything coming in, we have a lot of sessions, like meetings that are getting conducted in virtual reality right now also. So there are companies like, Yahoo Interactive, which recently shot a complete ad in virtual reality. So they had a model placed in a studio around a setup, and all the directors were all around the world. They all logged into the, their headset, and they directed the complete ad from the lighting to setup to posing, everything via virtual. So this is what all about. It's all about, right? Now, when it comes to AR, MR, VR, all we are doing is just designing for presence. Like, how realistic can you make it feel for someone? How much engaging or really engaging can you make it for any user? That's what it's all about. So, if you see, as in a ascending order, your AR has the lowest engagement because there's a screen in between. You have to interact with this key screen, everything. You have to move around the screen. So there's a physical, aspect that comes in. Now, MR, which is midway between AR and VR, is little bit more immersive because you have the headset and it's projecting in real life. It is tracking your hand movements, environment, and it is pointing out things accordingly. And then we have VR, which is a complete 3D immersion. You are in a completely digital environment. So this all is about designing for presence. You are not just designing some interfaces, you are designing how a user would feel in these mediums. Okay. Now, before we move on, you know, we have a lot of different types of AR. So before we get into AR, I would like to share some market findings that I've come across. What is the current market all about? How does it look for people like who are already there, or people who want to get in? What do they think about it, right? Because right now UI UX is the thing going around, and now AR is coming up. So how do you even consider that, right? So these are some reports that came up, which was, mobile AR in by the end of 2020, there were more than 1,185 million devices which are already using these AR applications, right? So ARKit, AR Core are nothing but different technologies that Android or iOS would be using. But if you see, that's a huge number. Like, on a daily basis, we have billions of users onboarding to mobiles. And with mobile comes these all new technologies, right? And if we see active mobile users, consumers are 598 million. I think by the end of 2021, we would have crossed it to easily 700 million, right? And then we have web AR, which is like 3,000 million. That's a huge number. And like, I'm thinking how many zeros that would be. I'll have to imagine it. I wish there was an AR app that would just present and tell me. But yeah, so these are some different domains that are there in the market, active. Then we come up to, what are the different fields that AR is being engaged into, right? And what is the revenue that is going on in the market? So video games, yes. When we talk about AR, the first thing everyone has is it's majorly for entertainment or games, movies, or that kind of thing. So by 2025, the video game AR industry would be 11.6 billion, and that's a huge amount of investment that the industry is looking. And following video games, the next is healthcare, right? So now you would be considering in healthcare what AR will do, right? But it is doing a lot of groundbreaking work right now. There are applications which are able to conduct complete surgeries digitally. So a doctor is way far into some other country, is able to put on his headgear, and he's able to see the projected patient, and he's performing the surgery there. And there are some robotics that are performing the same surgery on the other side on the patient, and people are using it for learning medical like anatomy and different structures altogether. So there are a lot of applications that are already there in the market for healthcare. Now, engineering engineering is another brilliant aspect where people are implementing AR in huge factories where I think because of COVID, we have a lot of travel has been reduced already, right? So when it comes to big factories, they have these big machine setups, and sometimes you require like external experts to come in and set it up for you. But let's say in current scenario, it's not possible. So AR is helping there by enabling the experts to be live in the space by using a headset and guiding the on ground staff to fix those things. Then we have live events. There are already uh, I think Japan is the leading one, where we have, if people know Hatsune Miku, she is one of the virtual idols, and they literally have a live show of a digital idol. Like, she doesn't exist in real life. It's a 3D model. It's a backstage singer, but that character itself has been brought to life by using augmented reality. Then we have video entertainment, right? So video entertainment would be some movies that are coming up. They are able to make more engagement. So I think if you remember Spider-Man 1, uh, not this one, Homecoming. So for Homecoming, they had Marvel had collaborated with one of the companies to create a virtual photo booth. So all you had to do was put up the application, put your phone on, and stand in front of it, and the Spider-Man would actually come and pose with you. So that is just creating, bringing you one step closer to that experience, like, okay, living inside a Marvel movie. Then we have real estate. This is basically showing people how the house would look like. Like, we have 3D walkthroughs right now, but imagine you're looking through a AR app or a AR headset exactly how it would be. You're able to turn around, look into each room. Like, it makes it more tangible. And same as we go retail, which is all the shopping and everything, you are able to find some object with just AR. You point it out and it will mark, okay, this is the direction you would have to go. And military training, like, they are using AR for a lot of simulations for test drives or missions runs, all of that. And education. So these are all some of the use cases of AR, and this is just small portion of what at least I have found out. right? And there's a huge market, there's a huge development already going on, and the world is getting into the next revolution of digital space. And on the right, if you see on the year-on-year growth of market investment on in US, so as they go up, we have smart glasses and smart windows or HUD displays that are coming up, and handheld device. So if you see, we are in 2021. Smart glasses are already taking over all the other devices. So in India, we have MI is launching their new smart glasses soon. Geo Tesseract have already built a platform where they are going to host more than 2.5 lakhs AR applications for their new product called GeoGlass. So when you have like these big players coming in and establishing, setting up in the market, and they are inviting, you know, already like developers all around India to come and develop AR applications, designer to come and pitch concepts. So there's a lot of going on, right? And by 2028, I think we all would be wearing AR glasses, and maybe next time when we have this session, we might be attending it in AR. You never know. That's how the market is getting penetrated right now. So now these are some interesting facts that Snapchat published. So we all have seen Snapchat as a social media platform, using communicating with our contacts and friends via photos, sharing stories, filters, right? But Snapchat has their own platform called Lens Studio, which is basically a AR building platform. You can build your own AR filters or face filters or background replacement elements. You can do a lot of that on the platform. They also have a special section of their business which is catering to corporate and branding advertising, right? That's where like big companies like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, all of these are collaborating with Snapchat to create more engaging content for them. So in the age group right now, 13 to 49, which is like the it's the younger audience, still on a younger side, people who most of 13 to 49 in the urban areas at least have access to mobile phones, and they are having access to all these social media applications. They have used like 58% have used AR, and some would have also used branded AR products like IKEA has their own application which you can place your furniture in your house, and that you can check how it looks, will it fit in particular position. And as we go, right, AR is becoming crucial for shopping industry. And well, due to COVID, AR has been coming along like very, very aggressively. And I think we all are used to right now scanning any QR code. We get to see, we are all used to, okay, how this AR thing at least works for us for basic stuff, right? If you are able to see a 3D turnaround or place it on left. So before we move ahead, how many of you have used Lenskart? So Lenskart has this feature, which is virtual try-on, right? It is nothing but, it is taking the 3D specs and placing it on your face. But that is something that is enough for you to understand, okay, this is how the spec would look, the glasses would look on me. And that will trigger your need to purchase it. Because when we shop on, like, basically any kind of accessory shopping or clothes, I think virtually it's still we have certain constraints, thinking that okay, will the size fit me, or will it look good on me, or will it not look good on me? But by creating such try-ons and such applications, it is enabling consumers to be at their comfort at their home, and you just go on. And as Nikita saying, most companies are using it, yes, for clothes. But have you heard about a company called Dress Code? Right? So they are doing some revolutionary stuff. So Dress Code is a US based company which just sells digital clothing. Those clothes are not there in real life, right? They are saying that you have these clothes virtually designed in 3D, very creative. All you have to do is you click a photo, right now at least is the stage, you click a photo and send it to them, and they will dress you in that particular dress and send that back to you. So what are they doing is, their one of the mission is to cut down a lot of waste. They are promoting sustainability, right? So please check out like Dress Code and Facebook Meta, Lens Studio, because there's a lot of stuff happening in the market. It's just that we haven't been able to get exposure to that right at this point of time. But it's a very interesting thing. Like every day when I see some new AR news, I'm like, wow, I didn't know this, and it's amazing how they do it. Like, I'm sorry, I'm giving a lot of comic references, but there's a application called Batman DC Tech Edition. So, DressX, exactly. This is sorry, it was DressX, and I think the main company is Dress Code. So there's an application called Batman Tech Edition. If you use it right now on your phone, you can project Gotham City on your tabletop, and you can fight Joker, Penguin, and all the villains in AR space. That's how fun it is, right? And it just gets instantly, like, rather than just sliding on a screen, you're like, okay, it's there on my tabletop. That is making it more engaging. That is creating more interest for you as a user or as an audience, right? And then we have Gen Z. Gen Z would be our after 2000s. They have like right now, a lot of people would be. I hope they are from Gen Z also, because it's great to have them, because they are the people who are promoting a lot of this stuff, because they've been using these filters. They are creating a lot of great effects, and if you see, they are the most people who have used these kind of products. Like, I'm not Gen Z right now, I'm from 90s, so kind of old. But then I won't use a lot of Snapchat filters, because maybe I feel, oh, what's there into it. But for the newer generation, it is exciting. They are ready to hop onto all this new tech. And that is where brands are looking for engagement, companies are looking for adding values and getting sales done, right? So, all good till now? Or is it becoming too lecturing for you guys? I hope it's not. So let's see. Let's go to next slide. So yeah, so how are the brand experiences right now? You know, set up. Like, what is the level? How these AR experiences enabling brand to interact with their audience? So one, as we mentioned right now, is virtual try-ons, and another is navigation. Like maybe you're in a mall and you want to navigate to the shop. Some of the places have already enabled that. Some places are like able to personalize your own, like it's giving ability to personalize their product as per what you require. So let's say you have an artwork that you want to be placed on your t-shirt, right? You put on that t-shirt and you can try on that t-shirt how it looks, maybe in some different lightings, and then you decide, okay, I want that t-shirt to be printed. And there would be some of the AR experience are specific to physical spaces, which is like either you go to some, there are like special places which do projections. So there they project virtual environment on a ground or a wall, and you are able to interact with those elements. And then, as you mentioned, right, IKEA, furniture, home decor is where a lot of AR is already being implemented. Like there are big players in the market who are making sure that 3D furniture is there for users to interact with, quickly change color, place it in any any space in your house, check it out, take a picture, and then order it accordingly. Game and entertainment is going on, and product demo. Like I think which was it? I don't remember exactly. I think there was one of the products. I don't remember if it was Dyson. So they have a AR demo of how the product is built inside, how it functions when it is doing the vacuum. Or there are, IKEA itself has a AR app for building the furniture. So people who would have bought from IKEA know, how complex sometimes it gets to build that furniture. It's literally like playing puzzles, right? So they have like a AR manual. You point out to the manual and it will show step by step how to fix which part where. So this is enabling user with more interaction. And then we have fitness or exercise, like in medical or sports. So fitness and exercise for AR in sports is already in place, where based on a player's motion, the app or the software is able to detect if it's doing correctly, if it's injured, or what are the possibilities that can happen, where the shot will go. A lot of time in cricket, when we see the time rewinds, or when we are seeing the third umpire, we call for the review, so we see that 3D model completely, right? So that is nothing but it is taking the player's position, player's motion, ball's position and motion, and projecting it, right? So that is where the industry is already there. So I think that was a lot of market talk that is going on. And guys, I will kid you not, this is not even 2% of what it is there in the space right now. Okay? So thanks Arushi for sharing this. So there are like AR manuals where the complete product you can sit at home. So Hyundai was one. BMW 8 years back, they had created one of their ad campaigns where people could just open the magazine, they point the phone, and they could see the BMW right in front of them. They could change the color and engage with it. It is a simple thing that is just a car model, but when a user who wants to buy it, for them it becomes like a more, like it's giving them brownie points. Let's say that you get more brownie points from user for keeping them engaged. So we'll come to types of augmented reality, which first would be marker based, right? As we spoke about that, it's triggered by an external object. So it can be a paper, it can be any object. So it depends on how you create it. So I'll just share an example. Let me see. Okay, I'll just play this.
Brr, it's cold outside. Thanks for activating our holiday greeting. From all of us at Agency Mabu, we're wishing you a very Merry Christmas and a blessed holiday season.
To replay it again. Okay.
Brr, it's cold outside. Thanks for activating our holiday greeting. From all of us at Agency Mabu, we're wishing you a very Merry Christmas and a blessed holiday season.
So how brilliant is this, right? It's just a normal greeting card, but then it comes to life when you point a mobile phone on it. Like you wouldn't expect that, right? So this is all based on marker. So if you see our Snapchat lenses or any kind of face filters are nothing but marker based. So they are taking our face as a marker and placing things on top of that. So these are what marker based application is. You can just think that it needs some external point for the simulation to be triggered. Once you scan that object, you're good to experience it. Okay. Now let's move on to another. So markerless application. So these applications are nothing but they scan the physical environment that you're placing them in. Like if you're in a room, you point the cam and it will try to find a good lit area and a flat surface, and then it will tell you, okay, you know what, now this is a good area, you can place your object here, right? So in the example you see there's a sofa, which is it's a completely virtual sofa. You're able to try it and place it in the hall and see how it looks. For this as well, I have a good example placed in. So wasn't this fun? Like that person has turned the regular office, maybe kind of boring space, by placing all these cats virtually. And anyone who has access to similar application, if they point their phone, they can see all these cats floating around, which if you remove the screen, it's nothing, right? It's like just making people have more fun and getting more engagement, right? And this is one of the examples of markers. There is no trigger object required. It is automatically scanning your physical space and you are able to place objects around it. And then we have, when we come to technology. So as the session name is designing for AR, there are two aspects that we critically need to know. One is the design itself, like what is the imagination, what is the concept, what is the vision that you have. And second aspect is how it is going to get implemented. What is the technology that are using? Because frankly speaking, you can have the best possible imagination, but if we are going to get technical limitations, then it becomes hard to get that product out. So we have like, for mobile, we have something called as AR Kit, which is developed by Apple, and any AR app in the iOS ecosystem is developed on AR Kit. So this enables Apple to run different kind of simulations on their phone, iPads, using this framework. And for Google or Android phones, we have AR Code. So AR Code will help us to run this AR applications. Now, this is just something fun that I did. So if you all are able to point your phone at this particular code, or I'll just put this link in the chat. Let's see. But yeah, you will need two displays for it. One would be your phone and one would be your system to scan few things. This is something fun I did. Like, I'm not a coder, but then I wanted to create a simple AR, experience for myself, or how it would look. So I created this completely on web. You don't need to have anything present. Like, all you need is few links. So has everyone scanned it? Are you able to scan it? So once once you open the link, it will ask for permission to access your cam. So you can provide the access. Let me know once you have the access. Right? So now point your phone towards this particular image. Are you able to see something? What are you able to see, Sonja? Sorry, Dajat. I'll sure to send. The link is there. You can try out even if possible. Yes, it's a fox. So I'll try to demo it for you. Some of the people who have joined it from phone, just give me a minute. So you can actually play around. You can rotate the fox. You can scale it, and just play like basic interaction. Let me see. So you can see my phone. I'll just open that link which I shared. Yeah, so currently it's based like there are some, we will come to the certain aspects of it. I'll just open the link for people who haven't been able to access it. So you can see this, right? So I'll just point my phone. So I'm able to like, oh, sorry. So I think my desktop is not, my web browser is not letting me interact with it, but yeah, this is what you would see on the, like, there's nothing present. It's just an image on my phone, right? But that fox is there. So this is one of the simple examples of AR being used around. This, as a designer, I'm telling it was pretty fun to do, and I was able to create like basic stuff with it, with a little bit of coding, not much, but yeah. So we'll come to that, Kesha. So this is what we call as web AR. So there are two types of applications when it comes to AR. Basically, we spoke about AR frameworks, which is nothing but 1 minute. AR application, which is AR Kit and AR Core, right? Which are frameworks which are applicable to your devices. But the application itself can be run in two different models, you can say. One is a completely web-based, and one is like a inbuilt app. So what we just saw was an example of web AR, which doesn't require you to install any application. It's a link, you just place it, you scan it, and it's there. So this I had created using ARJS, framework. I think I'll share it with Afif. He will put it in the notes. There are some good examples out there where you can easily create this. You can create it in like 15 minutes. It's not that difficult. Like, I have zero experience of coding, but I was able to create it in 15 minutes. So you can get on. It's fun to explore these things. So let's just see, what is the main difference between web AR and AR application, right? One is web AR is completely based on your browser. So it runs on the browser, you access it through a browser, there's no installation required, while AR application will be dependent on device. So when it comes to device, there are certain limitations that come in, like which is the device version, does the device support the AR core or AR kit framework. So there are multiple limitations coming. Web AR definitely requires you to run like internet to run the experience, because it's all on the cloud, and to grab that models and place it in your environment, it would require internet access. While some of the AR applications, you might not even need internet, because it has all the elements would have been installed along with the app. So if there's no internet, you can still use it, right? Web AR has like basic interactivity, clicks, slides. There are like basic stuff. It's not too engaging. Like, there are developments going on, but the interactivity is not as high as application, because all these interactivities are dependent on what you say, the hardware, or how good is your processing power. A lot of things run on processing power, right? So yeah, it's like an applet, Shadil. The complete framework is placed somewhere on the cloud, and you're just pulling whatever is required for your current simulation and your projecting. While AR application would be highly interactive, you can scale around, you can repaint things, you can even do like put fireworks in your house, in front of your table, a lot of things. Web AR takes less time to develop, and AR application basically take a lot of time. Web AR can be developed with a lot of open source codes that are available in market. As I said, AR.js is one of the open source tools that you can use, right? And there are, for AR applications, you have tools like Vuforia and Unity and all, which you need to purchase certain application licenses to be able to publish those applications, right? And web AR is limited in feature. That's why sometimes the experience might not be as detailed as an application. Now you would be thinking that, what does this have to do as a designer, right? Right. When you are creating an AR, or how should I give this an example? Okay, best would be go back to movies. The audience is important. Who is your audience or who is your user? If a user is like someone who's not who's like ready to explore all of this, they will install the app, they will use it, right? And some other user would be like, okay, I'm not going to install any application, give me some experience which is easy to use in one go. Now in sense of movies, some people like rom-coms, some people like horror, some people like sci-fi, and some people like comedy, right? So understanding the audience, understanding the device we want our experience to be placed on is very important. You don't need to know the technical aspect of it, like what is the code running in, but as a designer you need to know what are the platforms available, because you can imagine the best possible things, but if it is not uh, if people are not able to execute it, then it will just be a imagination, right? So it is very important to be realistic when it comes to these kind of things. So when you are talking about designing for AR, get an understanding of what are different platforms that are there in the market, what are different companies that are there in the market, and how they run it. No need to get into technicalities, just enough to you know explore your imagination. Right now, let's go a little bit deeper. How do you even come? What are the different techniques you can put in for AR? As we spoke about, right? That applications we design, we create wireframes, we create UI designs, we develop it, and the application is live. We know in the application space, the interaction would be on that flat screen. It will be swipe, clicks, maximum like a drag. These are the certain things that you would do. But when it comes to AR is all AR, VR, or MR. Any immersive experience is all about 3D space. So you need to have a decent understanding or a basic understanding how 3D space works, right? Like how this object would look in 3D, how this particular cube would rotate in 3D. So these are some of the things that you would it would be great if you could uh, catch up upon, and techniques to leverage from. AR or any kind of immersive experience is based on how you tell your story. A, a lot of us, like as a user as well, we have got now very short attention span. There's a 15-second reel, even that we don't watch if it doesn't catch our attention in first 5 seconds. We will just skip it, we move on to different reels, because that's the environment we have come in, right? So you have to have an engaging story to tell. Make sure that user is hooked on to your concept in the first 30 seconds. If you lose your user's attention in the first 30 seconds, they won't go ahead. The second would be imaginary, or this is a term that was coined by Walt Disney. So they have a post called Imagineers, or if I'm pronouncing right, please don't mind, sir. So these are like, you take your imagination and the engineering aspects and combine them together to bring out all your concepts. So in Disneyland right now, if you see, they built a robotic, stunt robot, which is playing Spider-Man's role. Like it just jumps from one corner to another as Spider-Man. But just for that small section, they built this whole robot. They did research for years, and it's already live in a lot of locations. So they coined this term, and this is applicable to or any kind of immersive tech. We have to combine our imaginations with the possible executions, engineering or technological aspects that are there in place right now. And improvisation, yes, this is something that, you know, there is no limit to any kind of design. Like, you might feel that, oh, I've done it and it's good, I'll take my hand off, but you never know how a user might come across and there will be some new situation that comes. So your application should be able to improvise accordingly. It should be able to improvise in the space as per the user needs. Now, when we are doing all this, we have to make sure that our application is highly functional, it is playful, and it is intuitive. It shouldn't require a big manual to, you know, just to learn how this application would run, right? So I think that we are all good. We are almost at the closing end. I think it's, oh, I didn't realize we've been on for more than an hour now. But thank you guys, you have been asking really amazing questions, and we are coming to the Q&A part where we have more questions lined up. So it's been a fun session. So I'll just take you to a last slide, which is very important when you're creating or designing for AR, right? Which is understanding the space itself. So end of the day, you are going to make this complete application feel realistic, engaging for a person. But that the sense of presence is very important. How much are you coming closer to the user? So if you see you're standing in a public space and someone just comes and stands around in front of your face, will you be comfortable? No, right? Because they have invaded like your personal space. We all have this, you know, a 1 meter space, 1.5 meter space around us, which is very personal to us, which we don't like someone new coming in. If people we know they are close to us, we are good. But someone new will always be a jarring experience for us. So that is an intimate space. And then we have like a space where we have our friends, family, we are comfortable being there. And then we have like social space where you go to parties and all, you have people around there, you're comfortable. And then you have like a public space, which is everyday malls and also you're good with. So distance where you place your experience matters. It can't be too close, it can't be too far to be experienced. It has to be at the right amount of point for a user to experience it, right? So there are 3 levels of AR. One is tabletop, one is a room based, or like a level larger than scale, and third is the complete room based. So what do we mean by this? So one of the AR experience, it just requires a small table or any surface. You can just point it there and, you know, you can run that design. Some of the applications might require a bigger space, maybe a bigger table or a bigger open space. Then there are applications which would require you to have a good amount of open space around you. So there are certain showroom walkthroughs that are there, like some there's a college that did a fashion virtual showroom. That complete experience is like as big as a huge store. Now remember, your user, specifically we are talking about in AR term right now, will be holding a screen in their hand, right? And when you're walking them through the store, you have to keep in mind what might be there around them physically. Like if they are too engaged in their phones, they will end up having certain accidents. So these are like, space is an important factor of considering when you are doing AR. I can't stress more than this. And this is very, very important. I think Pokemon Go came into spotlight because a lot of accidents were happening because people were not looking around them. They just went ahead running behind the Pokemon. They didn't see the traffic signal, or they didn't see the people coming in front of them. So this is how important space is in these experiences. I think we have reached the end of the slide. And yeah, I know it was a long presentation, but thank you for so calmly listening to it. I think we are good to go for questions.
Hey, Amit, that was a great session, and I think it was worth the length of it, because one of the reasons were the web AR that you created yourself, because I was just having my phone here and going through it myself, like, oh wow, this is so great. So yeah, I think everyone enjoyed it as much as I did, and we have questions lined up for us. So why don't we take them up one by one? Okay, so this is one question. How many years do you think it will take for the education industry to adopt AR?
It's already adopted. There are applications that are there who are teaching kids. You have these teaching cards that come in ABCD. You just place them, and the kid can just put the iPad or mobile phone, and they can interact with Apple. So Apple just pops out. They can turn around, right? So there are like multiple applications are already there in the market, and I think Byju's are already like they are also researching on some of the things, because Disney partnering with Byju's, and Facebook also is part of it. So they are pushing for more AR implementation, because as students, right, nothing makes you learning more fun than experiencing it. Like, we would study all the possible theory, but that one experiment in our science lab would teach us more than the 10 pages would we read, because that's your eyes, like you're physically present. It's when we say in our design team, when we talk about experiences, because experiences are lasting impressions, and AR is like just enhancing.
Right.
So there are a lot of companies out there who are doing AR, and soon enough, hopefully when we have like the hardware capable enough to be in public normally, like, other than mobile phones, we will see more of this coming in, definitely.
Right. Yeah, I think I absolutely agree with that. And as you mentioned in the session earlier as well, COVID has just helped it and has played a catalyst role and helped this AR world boom ahead. So yeah, the next question is, okay, so you mentioned that certain companies are starting off with AR. So which company do you think offers the best AR experience in India? I think we can start off in India.
I think in India right now, Geo is building a great platform for AR. Like, if I get the name correctly, there's a community called XRDI. So it's a dev community that has been already there in India. It has been promoting, AR, VR trainings and programs for developers all around India. So they recently did a session with Geo, and it was very good. Like, they were talking about what is the scope in the market and how they would like a lot of our designers to come on board and explore more of it. So in India, we have XRDI. Internationally, if you see, there are certain platforms that enable AR experiences, which one would be learning Unity. Unity is like the base for any type of gamification. So you can just learn Unity and then use it with Vueforia, and other SDKs are there to get your AR app out. You can check out this company called The Eighth Wall. It does like a majority of brand integration activities the 8-fold does, and they develop a lot of web AR based, like very interesting web AR based applications. So they I recently was testing out their Shang-Chi. So for Shang-Chi movie, they had created a web AR. Basically, they just show the 10 rings, and it's a game, and the 10 rings get spread out in your environment. You have to turn around your phone and find those 10 rings. So there are technologies like this.
I think that's great. I would personally, want the Iron Man armor. Sometime that, someone can, just make me do this and have that armor right in my hand. That would be absolutely amazing.
It's close.
Yeah.
The exoskeletons are already there.
All right. So, okay. So, talking about the devices used. So, Jatin asked, like, what would you prefer are the right ways to move forward with the devices? Can is there handheld devices or other devices like glasses? Which one would you prefer?
Hey, if given a choice, we would love to do smart glasses. But then, as mentioned, right, where is our audience based? That is what is important. It is not what we use. It is what they are going to use. If my majority of audience is going to be on mobile, it's no point for me to develop a smart glass AR because they are not able to use it. So whatever device your audience is using, if you are able to create a application for that, nothing like that. That's the best thing. Like, we can have the best possible hardware available or device available, but that's on a market or as a researcher, as an audience, they won't have, or no one is going to buy a specific headset just to experience on application. If they have a device, they have the what do you say, they are in that mindset to use it, they will use it. And yes, Jatin, like, it is important to have CX, customer experience overall, by considering multiple devices, and that's where our the audience research will definitely help you out.
So that's the market side of things. So, talking about career opportunities. So for starting out a career in AR or VR, how does one even begin or, start applying without a lot of experience?
So I'll be frank here. I started AR 6 months back. I'm also learning as we go. Like, I'm taking certain courses and understanding how it does and how certain technical part works, right? But we, as we spoke about it, it's about understanding the 3D space, how the 3D space would work, how your object placed in 3D space would look, right? How from your mobile it would work. So to get started as designer, I would suggest first research on what are the possibilities currently, like Unity, 8-wall, what are the possibilities in those applications, and then just come up with a concept. Like, on LinkedIn, there was a great prototype of I don't remember that person's name, but he had basically just done a demo prototype. It was not on any application. He did it in, I think, XD or something, where he's searching for food places around me, and his map opens up, and on the map in 3D space you can see pointers with the name of hotels or restaurants around it, and you choose one of the restaurants and the map guides you there. So, as I said, understanding the space and your audience, how they interact with it, will be the key factor. Then comes your design part, then comes your visual aspect part.
I think one similar example is how Mercedes-Benz have implemented this into their newly launched MBUX. So, they have been trying it out in their flagship devices, and I don't think it pops up, but you can just search for a place, and the screen just guides you there along the way.
Exactly. So there are, like, in automotive is one of the key industries that is going through AR. if people know the sensors in our cars, that when you are taking like reverse, you have those beeps. Those are nothing but AR, kind of an AR implementation, because it is scanning your real environment. It has a, some clauses said that if this certain object come into this proximity, you start beeping.
Right.
So now leveraging on top of it, we are just enhancing with technology.
Right. Yeah, I think automotive is absolutely one of the most emerging industries in terms of AR. And yeah. So moving on to, let's take one last question. Uh, so Prachi asks, how can we design prototype for an AR based app? So for example, like can we try it on Figma or in XD?
You can do it, like you can do at least the UI part of it. But let's say if you want to do the try-ons, maybe you would need to take help of After Effects or uh, you know 3D software, just to enable you to get that feel of it. It doesn't have to execute it. Like I can shoot a video of myself and I can put glasses, 3D glasses on me. So if you're just talking about clothings, uh, try out Lens Studio from Snapchat, because they have a new section called AR T-shirts, where you can try the T-shirts, you can put any design on it, and any user can try that. So it's moving from just a face filter entertainment to a more of brand and advertising space. So you can try out, like Facebook has their Spark AR platform, and Snapchat has their Lens Studio. So these are all free. You can just go on to this platform. There are courses available for free by these companies. You can take even certifications from them and develop this. You can get started. So as I said, there's no limit to your imagination. Like it's just that you need to know what are the right resources to go ahead with.
I absolutely agree with that, and because of that, even here at ProApp, we are
We
ourselves.
have a
Yes, we are ourselves launching an app, a course for design for AR, and I think I will get it verified from Amit first before taking it live, so that we have the expert approval before we are there. So
and I
yeah,
think you also launched the recent one of the VR designing for VR courses, right? And that's a brilliant thing.
right. I think yeah. So that's about it. We are almost reaching our mark, and yeah, thank you, Amit. I hope everyone loved the session as much as I did, and I think let's say next time, as you mentioned, I can eliminate this laptop, and probably I can see you there sitting right in front of me, and we can take the next session from there.
Soon, that would be great.
All right, so thanks a lot everyone for tuning in, and I hope it was as valuable for you. For the next workshop, we will be having Ansh Mehra here to learn about beginning your UX design journey from scratch. So stay tuned for that. But till then, enjoy your Christmas, enjoy your New Year, and we hope to see you next year.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a great weekend and a great year, and see you soon. Bye, guys.